Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here as we get ready for the season finale for The Last of Us Lite Series Season 2. We're getting ready to crown ourselves a champion, and also the eventual champion of this series will take part in the 3 final Hershey's Cup Series races at Texas, Rockingham, North Carolina, and the season finale at Homestead Miami Speedway. So we'll see what is going to happen here. It almost looks like it's an open and shut case of who the champion is going to be. We'll document that in just a minute. But regardless, all 38 of these drivers want to finish out the season with a victory. And so we'll see if we end up having our second repeat winner joining Jeff Scott, or will we see another first-time winner this year. Now, the reason I say it looks like an open and shut case is because basically coming into this race, you want to have yourself within 35 points of the points leader to mathematically have at least a shot of having a long shot of winning the championship. Griffin Lynn comes in as the points leader, had a great run at Gateway 2 weeks ago. Only 2 drivers come into this race within that 35-point cut line. They are Simon Bloomfield and Shane Vincent. So the odds of a Toyota winning this championship are pretty doggone good. But I don't know if Bloomfield and Vincent are going to be able to get that championship from Griffin Lynn unless Lynn has something happen here and finishes in dead last. He's rolling off from the 4th position outside of row 2, so good starting track position for him. We're going to have to see. Griffin Lynn's just got to be conservative today, and he could probably bring home the championship. It's kind of ironic, too, and I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of a history lesson of the Last of Us Lite series. But first, we're going down trackside and getting those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines.
So as the command is given, this is not the first time that the Last of Us Lite Series Championship has been an open and shut case, kind of. It was definitely not even close to a points battle in the first season of Last of Us Lite Series, where they had their season finale at Armory, and already the champion had been determined. Ty Dent headed into that race with a 59-point advantage, and the most you could make up on a driver in a race in that series was 50 points. So we already knew who the champion was going to be then. We've got a little bit of a chance of a spoiler here today, but kind of ironic that, you know, what was it, like a year, 2 years after the first Last of Us Lite series, we end up having almost the same kind of a situation here in the second season of this series. It's almost uncanny. Logan Cloud on the pole alongside of Robert Henne. Your top 10 the points come in this race. Let's give it to you real quickly here, even though it's not really going to matter in terms for the championship. Griffin Lynn's the points leader. We mentioned Simon Bloomfield and Shane Vincent second, third. Chris Maley is 4th. P Onjack in 5th. Logan Cloud trying to finish out the season with a win. He's had a real good year. He's 6th in points. L Lozano is 7th. R Spurlytube 8th. Ben Crouch in 9th. And completing your top 10 is Marty Johnson. So, as we get ready to go racing for 41 laps here under the lights at Kansas, we're about ready to crown a champion. The season finale of the Season 2 Last of Us Lite Series is green. Let's roll! Cloud to the lead. Robert Henne very wisely let him have the spot. Tucks in line into second place. You see the outside line not moving, and that's where Griffin Lynn, the points leader, is trapped. He's going to try and get his way down to the bottom. Battle for the lead. Robert Henne wants to lead the first lap. Get him off this corner. Outside line drifting up. Middle line drifting up. So far, we're still green, at least for the moment. Couple of cars down there using the apron, including Shane Vincent, one of those long shot drivers. Caution is out. Yellow flag is out. I believe they took it. Yes, they did. So Robert Henne's going to be the leader under this yellow. And I saw Shane Vincent down on the apron, so I think he's okay. Yeah, he's all right. Bloomfield back there is okay. And you see Griffin Lynn on the left side, bottom left. So our 3 championship competitors were not involved in the wreck. Let's see who was. A couple of cars at the back here. Riley Spurlytube in the 28, Jake Smith in the 54. Spurlytube, our winner earlier on this year at Chicagoland, 8th in points, and now he's got right side damage. It's like he might have very well drifted up into someone and squeezed them into the wall or something like that. I think he's the only car with damage right now. Oh, there's the skid marks. It's on the front straightaway coming out of turn 4. So Spurlytube, who's been on a skid the last couple of weeks after dominating the first half of the season, looks like he's the reason for our first yellow of the day. Let's go back and see what happened. Had another driver on pit road along with Spurlytube, the 69 of Kenny Johnson, who I believe is going to get a piece of this wreck. Looking at the 54 of Jake Smith. Oh, wow, yeah, that was on Spurlytube. Spurlytube looked like he got tight off the corner, came up into the left rear quarter panel of the 54 Toyota Camry. And you saw a little bit of contact for the right side of Kenny Johnson, so he got a piece of that as well. P Onjack, Michael Whitman get around on the top side, and yeah, for the most part, it was basically a three-car incident between Smith, Spurlytube, and Kenny Johnson. The 54 and the 28 are the two that are left spinning on the front straightaway, and that brings out the caution for the first time here tonight. So we get ready to go back green on lap 6 of 41. Another driver that I believe also hit the pit lane was the 15 of Simon Bloomfield, one of our championship threes. So we'll have to keep tabs on him trying to progress his way back through the field. R Henne restarts the race leader. Tim Gary lines up in second. Logan Cloud, the pole sitter, is third. Dylan Farrell in fourth. And L Lyons, who had that top 5 run last 2 weeks ago, I should say, at Gateway, lines up in fifth. A Lozano sixth. Griffin Lynn trying to just be consistent. He's seventh. Ben Crouch currently in eighth. Ninth place is Aiden Shepard, and Chris Maley completes top 10. Let's find out where the two drivers trying to run down that 41 are restarting. Shane Vincent's going to restart back in 18th. And Simon Bloomfield, we said, was on pit road. He's restarting back in the 33rd position. Single file restart, so we'll see how anxious these drivers are to get double wide and maybe 3 wide again. R Henne gets us back underway. First car out of line, that's a battle for fourth. L Lyons to the inside of Dylan Farrell. Landon finishing in the 5th position. 2 weeks ago at Gateway, battle for the lead. Tim Gary to the inside of R Henne. Tim Gary was 14th at Gateway. He jumped up 4 spots in the point standings, now up to 22nd. That was actually his, he's actually only got 1 top 10 and 1 top 5. It's not been a great year for him. Look at Griffin Lynn. Griffin Lynn does not have a win this year. He's en route to win the championship without going to victory lane. That just shows how consistent this team has been. But I think Griffin Lynn wants to go for broke right now. I think he wants to finish out the season with a win and a championship. Lyons to the lead. Lozano's going to move into second. Lozano started out the year with a victory. Oh, boy! Wow, back here, they're still leaning on each other. Gracious! That was Taylor Frey, Marty Johnson, and Aiden Shepard, 3 wide leaning on each other, and then Shepard and Frey were leaning on each other again through turn 2. How they didn't wreck, I don't know. Or maybe that wasn't Marty Johnson, it might have been Tristan Fowlkes, wrong yellow machine. But Lozano started out the year with a win at Daytona, would love to finish out the year with a win here at Kansas, and here comes Chris Maley in the 55. 4th in the point standings. Now he's 39 points back. There's just no way with only a 38 car field he could beat Griffin Lynn. Basically, in order to beat Griffin Lynn that way, he would basically have to win the race, and Griffin Lynn would have to finish dead last. Caution's out though. I saw the caution lights on. Second time tonight. Looks like L Lyons will lead them back over Marty Johnson and Chris Maley. Another incident out of turn 4, it appears. And there were a couple of drivers that were running near the rear of the field that might have had to make their way through that, including Simon Bloomfield, so we'll see if he's okay. It's like Patrick Smith in the 46 was involved in this one. Yeah, Bloomfield got through. Looks like it was just the 46 car. So probably went around off the nose of somebody. And are we going to have pit stops maybe? I didn't really even consider that, but this is a 41 lap event. It's a little bit longer. And this is a 1.5 mile track, and this is CTS physics. Looks like they are going to hit pit lane, so we'll have to see if the running order looks any different from when they come to pit road here to when we come back from the replay for the restart. One thing about these fast 1.5 mile tracks is tire heat, and really hurts you on the exit of the corner if your car is running tight. That's Shane Vincent up ahead getting into the wall. Patrick Smith gets into the wall there, and he's going to go around off the nose of the 37 of Jonathan Wong. But that was kind of interesting. I don't know if you saw it, left side of your screen. The 25 went up and brushed the wall off turn 4. So he might have some damage now, and he's basically the last-ditch effort right now of trying to get that championship away from Griffin Lynn. Oh, there you see it. Yeah, right there. I don't know if we can avoid looking at the pace card. There is the damage on the right side of that machine. So I don't know how that's going to affect the 25 speed-wise. Simon Bloomfield's already towards the back after he got a little scuffle under our first caution. So even more, it's looking like the white flag of surrender is being raised to the team of the 41 Griffin Lynn. Well, we are about to get the 1 to green, I do believe, but we ended up having an extra lap of caution because something happened here under the yellow flag. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but it's taken out some drivers. I saw Clark McKee was sitting on pit road. I saw Josh Drake was out of the race. Chris Maley had an extended stay on pit road, and he was up inside of the top 10. I don't know if something happened on pit road or if it happened on the back straightaway, but we got 5 cars out of the race. Jonathan Wong, Al Lagasee, Kenny Johnson, Chris Maley, and Josh Drake have all retired from this event. So I don't know what happened, but it was something all taking place under the yellow flag. And it was after the pit stops, too. So I don't know if something happened on pit road or if it happened when everyone was merging back on the track. But 5 drivers out of the race, and that is even more good news for Griffin Lynn because that means he can finish no worse than 30th here today now. L Lyons was first off pit road. He'll restart ahead of Tim Gary. Aiden Shepard now 3rd. Ryan Brommer 4th. Dylan Farrell 5th. With the departure of Chris Maley, the top 10 looks a little bit different. As you got Alex Lozano, Brandon Morris, Ben Crouch, Marty Johnson, and Tristan Fowlkes. That's your top 10. Griffin Lynn's going to restart back in 15th. As the green flag's going to come back out. Simon Bloomfield still running. He's 25th on the restart, and Shane Vincent 30th. But even more and more looking like this is Griffin Lynn's championship to lose. Green flag back in the air. We're now a third of the way through this race. Already worked our second caution. 5 drivers out of this event. As Lyons leads a single file train down the back straightaway, and no longer. Here comes Aiden Shepard for second place. Shepard, who won earlier on this year at the tricky triangle of Pocono. Trying to get his second win of the season. We mentioned there's only 1 driver in this field that has 2 wins this year, and he didn't even start all the races, that being the 06 of Jeff Scott, winning back-to-back races at Lucas Oil and then the following race at Talladega. Ben Crouch lines up there in the 4th position. Comes into this race 9th in points. Last couple of weeks have not been kind to the 78 team, but still top 10 in the stands and still looking for their first win. Marty Johnson just moved into the top 10 last week, up to 10th place. He's looking for his first win. Mentioned this last week, Marty Johnson with a win in the NNSCRA in the Coors Light Truck Series back in Season 1 when he won under the name of Marty Zakala. And how about Taylor Frey now to the inside? He's trying to crack the top 5. He's going to move into that spot, and there's last week's winner, Michael Canto, who took the checkered flag, well, actually not last week, but 2 weeks ago at Gateway. He's now up inside the top 10, looking for his second win in a row. Now 3 wide with Paul Jackson on the bottom, Marty Johnson way up high. There goes Colton Yohe on the inside in the 98. Up front, Taylor Frey continuing to pick up some spots. That's 3rd place position changing hands. Lozano gets moved back. Now he's under fire for 4th from Paul Jackson. And we got a battle for the lead maybe brewing between L Lyons and Ben Crouch. Crouch is going to step to the inside, and he'll go to the lead probably out of turn 2. Taylor Frey with a big run. He's going to try and get the 2nd spot out of turn 2 down to turn 3. And he will clear for the position. Michael Whitman in the 32, now up to 6th place. Whitman coming into this race 12th in points. A couple of weeks ago, he was in the top 10 in the standings. Things settled out here towards the front, at least for the moment. Let's see where Griffin Lynn currently has himself slotted. As faded back quite a bit as Griffin now fallen back into the 25th position, back here with Simon Bloomfield and Riley Spurlytube. Just trying to ride it out, I think. Just trying to stay out of trouble, because they are racing pretty hard up here towards the front. Zach Rogers has now cracked the top 10, as has Benjamin Breeg. Breeg gets put in the middle 3 wide. Look at that, 27 of Rogers with a big run. Now up to 8th. Trying to take 7th from Michael Whitman. Battle on for 2nd as Taylor Frey went to the front, bypassing Ben Crouch. Crouch slipped back to 3rd, now looking to get back up to 2nd place, and here comes Paul Jackson with a run. That's a battle for 3rd place. Rogers now looking for 5th on Michael Whitman. Some of these cars, when they get to that higher groove, they just get outside of the gray and they lose grip. L Lyons is going backwards now. Zach Rogers, he's going to get to the inside for 3rd place on Paul Jackson. Those fusions will settle it out. Rogers to the final podium position. Colton Yohe now going to try and take 4th as Rogers sets his sight on Crouch for 2nd. This all currently going on behind Taylor Frey, who almost just wrecked, trying to get around the slower machine of Shane Vincent. Here comes Rogers, here comes Crouch. They're 3 wide behind the slow machine. And the inside line opens up for Zach Rogers. So Shane Vincent, who's still running but now a lap down and off the pace. There's a competitor going for Griffin Lynn, who is now running in the same vicinity as the other competitor, Simon Bloomfield. That just changes up the top 5 as Ben Crouch, stuck behind the 25, fell all the way from basically the race lead back to 6th. Shane Vincent just trying to get out of everyone's way, just trying to finish out the year as best he can. Looks like he'll probably finish out this season, I would say, around the 3rd position in points. Some of the other drivers trying to get by him in the standings, not really that close. The possible ones that could maybe take 3rd from him in the standings, Logan Cloud and Alex Lozano. Maybe Ben Crouch. Another car up ahead they'll have to deal with. That's Clark McKee in the 23. He was on pit road for a number of laps. Looks like they're going to catch him in a good spot. At least the race leader, Rogers, will. Catches him just before the entrance to turn 3. Taylor Frey's going to make quick work of him as well. Colton Yohe, Benjamin Breeg. There's Lozano up there in the 6th position, and he came into this race behind Shane Vincent by, I believe it was 9 points. So I think he is going to pass that car for position in the standings, and he almost just turned Ben Crouch out of turn 2. Battle for 2nd. Colton Yohe trying to get to the inside of Taylor Frey. Benjamin Breeg right there, waiting to see what's going to happen. That's another driver that fell out of the top 10 the points after last week. Comes into this race now 13th in points, the driver of the 5. They'll move to 2nd and 3rd as Taylor Frey fades back to the 4th position. Rogers right now with about a half-second lead as they continue to be more content battling for the runner-up spot than running down the race leader. There's the tail end of the field. Simon Bloomfield in 28th. Actually now 27th as Spurlytube falls back to 28th. They're exiting out of turn 4. The leader is heading into turn 1, so it looks like it'd be a while before Zach Rogers has to deal with traffic again. Zach Rogers, former winner in the Pizza Hut X Series back in, I believe it was season 1. It was either season 1 or season 2. I remember he came in just around the playoffs part of the season, replacing Elijah Gordon in the number 2 out of Richard Childress Racing. And what did he do? He went to victory lane in one of those races. There you see they're exiting out of turn number 4. Boy, Logan Cloud faded back, the pole sitter, and Griffin Lynn's picked up some spots since we last saw him. He's now in 21st. 2 drivers trying to run him down for the championship. One of them is running 6 spots behind him in 27th, and the other one is pinned a lap down in 29th. So right now, Griffin Lynn has this championship pretty well in hand. battle for the lead might not be in hand because it's starting to brew again. Benjamin Breeg and T Frey, second and third, they're doing a pretty good job of running down the 27. And if Zach Rogers goes to victory lane, Rogers will be the second driver this season to have gone to victory lane and not have started every race this season. Jeff Scott was the only one that was able to do it, 2 wins so far, and out of the 9 races to date that we ran, he only had run 7 of them, while Zach Rogers has only run 6, and this is his 7th start in the 10 races that we've run. So, trying to join Jeff Scott as a driver that didn't start out the season at Daytona, but at least finishes out the season at Kansas as a race winner. I think we got to go back to that pass he made, that 3-wide pass when they were trying to get around Shane Vincent, himself and Ben Crouch, and I think the other car was T Frey. That, I think, was the pass that got him the race lead, and we're going to just have to see if he can hold on to it. It's also the question of if these drivers were able to make it on fuel. We had 2 cautions, and I don't know exactly what the fuel window was for these drivers. So we are getting into the range here of nearing 5 laps to go. So would these drivers be close on fuel, or can they make it the rest of the scheduled distance? How about the comeback for Jake Smith? That car was spun out on the front straightaway for our first yellow flag when he made contact with, who was it? I think it was R Spurlytube, actually. And he's fought his way now up to the 6th position. What a comeback for the 54 cars. The front, though, you can see the gap is closing between Rogers and Breeg. Breeg has T Frey in tow, helping him with draft to try and get up to the back bumper of the 27. Last time by, about 0.4 of a second separation. This time by, still stays about the same. I don't know if you're hearing it, but I'm hearing it. There's a scraping noise every time these cars head into turn 1. They're going up as high as they can towards that safer barrier to get the best drive down into turn 1 that they can. And they're scraping the wall, just barely doing that. Gotta think that's gotta be scrubbing off a little bit of speed for them, or at least gonna mess up their corner entry, but they're making it work. As Rogers crosses the line, we now have a total of 7 laps to go here. Good battle here just inside the top 5. Robert Henne now in 5th. Lozano right there in 6th. Ben Crouch in 7th. Those 2 right there, Crouch and Lozano, could be battling for spots inside the top 5 to finish out this season. And Griffin Lynn, where is he at now? He was 21st last time we checked in. That's where he still is at. He's found himself a nice cushion with Paul Jackson just ahead, Patrick Smith just behind. I think he's pretty happy with where he's running. Ben Crouch side by side with Lozano, and that's going to allow Jake Smith and Dylan Farrell to try thinking about 3-wide formation. It's just inside of the top 10. Tristan Folks right there as well in the 77. And the biggest loser out of all this is going to be Lozano. He might fall out of the top 10 because here comes L Lyons in 11th. He's going to try and take the 10th position. Now Jake Smith to the inside of Farrell. That would be for 7th. Meanwhile, up front, Benjamin Breeg has lost touch with Zach Rogers. We now have a 3-car fight brewing for 2nd between Breeg, Frey, and now Colton Yohe has reeled in those 2. I don't know if maybe these 3, if they can get lined up, they can produce a little bit more speed to try and run down Zach Rogers or not. But Rogers, the thing that's on his side is he's continuing to tick away laps. Every lap that he puts on the board is one less lap that these drivers have to be able to have a shot at taking away this win. 4 laps to go, 3.5 as the 27 hits the back straightaway. Battle is on for 3rd, and that's really going to hurt their chances of running down Rogers for the win. Colton Yohe doesn't care. He wants 3rd place. He's going to get it. T Frey back to 4th as Breeg trying all he can to get up there to the back bumper of the 27. That time by still 0.4. He's about as fast as Rogers. He's just not faster. And I kind of thought maybe the draft, maybe the slipstream would help him, but it really hasn't. Both cars running just about identical lines as well. Almost down to the white line in 3 and 4. Rogers maybe a little bit higher off the corner than Breeg as he has 2 more laps to go. That time by still about 4/10. The separation from first back to second. Rogers just needs to hit his marks. Breeg needs to find something different. He can't keep running that line. It's just keeping the old status quo. He's got to try something if he's going to get his first win of the season. And he's ought to do it pretty soon because there's only 4 more corners he's going to have with Zach Rogers receiving the white flag. 1 more lap to go. Rogers comes into this race currently situated 37th of the 38 drivers in points. No top 5s, no top 10s. Looks like he's going to have a 1 in the column all the way across the boards for wins, top 5s, and top 10s here tonight, as the season finale at Kansas is going to be won by a driver that didn't even take the green flag to start the season at Daytona. Checkered flag in the air. Zach Rogers wins the season finale tonight at Kansas Speedway. And where is he? There he is. Griffin Lynn will cross the line in the 20th position, and that's enough for him to claim the Season 2 Last of Us Lite Series Championship. Everything just seemed to fall Griffin Lynn's way ever since last week's top 5 run at, or 2 weeks ago's top 5 run at Gateway. Tonight, he ended up having enough drivers DNF that he couldn't finish any worse than, I think it was 34th. And the 2 drivers that were the long shot drivers to compete for the championship with him encountered problems, and he finished ahead of both of them, securing the championship. And Griffin Lynn joins Ty Dent as a Last of Us Lite Series champion in the NNSCRA, and will be making, let's not forget, his Hershey's Cup Series debut later on this weekend at Texas Motor Speedway in the number 98 for Tweenix Racing. Now, while there wasn't much of a battle for the points lead and as consequence the championship, there still is going to be a pretty good battle for second on down in the point standings, which was really close coming into this race. Simon Bloomfield with struggles, Shane Vincent with struggles, Chris Maley had problems, Peter Onjack finished towards the back, as did Logan Cloud. Some drivers that had good runs, though, including Lozano and Ben Crouch, Benjamin Breeg. So we'll have to see if they jump up into the top 10 or top 5 at the completion of this season. Zach Rogers, though, he becomes the 9th different driver to go to victory lane this season, picking up his first win in what was only his 7th start this year. Benjamin Breeg will have to settle for 2nd. Colton Yohe brings it home 3rd. Taylor Frey in 4th. And R Henne will finish the day out in 5th. Ben Crouch in 6th. Jake Smith, that was a comeback for him in 7th. Dylan Farrell in 8th. Tristan Fowlkes 9th. And completing your top 10 was L Lyons. Then it was Sean Arndt in 11th. Alex Lozano in 12th. Whitman brings it home 13th. He was another driver that was up there in points. He probably will finish the season out top 10. Tim Gary will finish 14th, and Marty Johnson will finish the season probably top 10 in the points as he gets 15th. And it was Nicholas Wade, Aiden Shepard, Brandon Morris, Paul Jackson, and your champion Griffin Lynn completing the top 20. Look on down through the remainder of the finish results. 2-time winner Jeff Scott, 24th for him. Michael Canto, our winner from Gateway, 25th. Simon Bloomfield managed to finish in 26th on the lead lap. Logan Cloud started on the pole, finishes last car on the lead lap in 27th. Shane Vincent came into this race 3rd in the points, finishes the lap down in 28th. And 5 drivers finished out of the race due to incident that took place under the caution, under that second caution. Jonathan Wong, L Lagasee, Kenny Johnson, Chris Maley, and Josh Drake all finishing out the year with a DNF. But that is going to do it here for this season. What a season it has been. Been a lot of fun. Appreciate everybody that took part in it. And your champion is Griffin Lynn, the driver of the number 41. We still got some more champions to determine, though. We're not done with Coors Light Truck Series, Pizza Deck Series, and Hershey's Cup Series. They still have to even determine their final 4, and that won't even be until next week. We finish off this week, though, with Texas Motor Speedway playing host to the Pizza Deck Series and Hershey's Cup Series drivers, and you will see Griffin Lynn making his Hershey's Cup Series debut in the number 98 in the Hershey's Cup Series race this week at Texas. Till then, though, I've been Seth Cole. Hope you guys enjoyed this race. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. Hope you guys enjoyed this season. because these are your overall point standings for this year. As you can see, Griffin Lynn, P1, he is your Season 2 Last of Us Lite Series champion. Till next time, I've been Seth Cole, and you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA, Offline Racing at its best.